Welcome back to episode 34 of our Ocarina of Time walkthrough. This will be part 1 of 2 episodes that will be the completion of Forest Temple. When you first enter, you'll encounter 2 Wolfos. Use your shield to defend against their attacks, and then as soon as they attack you, hit them with a stab as a counterattack. And that's fairly effective. Their primary attack on you is actually a jump attack, but it's pretty easy to defend against by using your shield or jumping out of the way. Alright, after the Wolfos are defeated, you'll notice a suspicious-looking hanging vine on the wall, so you can hookshot onto or just climb all the way up, and climb up to that ledge of wood there on the left. And you'll notice the gold statula there above us, so once you get on the ledge, then you can use your hookshot to defeat him and collect token number 49. Now turn around and walk down the ledge of the wood there, and you'll see a chest on the other piece. You can either jump over to it, or the easier way of doing it to avoid falling off is just a hookshot onto the chest and open it up to obtain a small key. Then jump on down and run through the door. And then there's a big statula there. They're pretty easy to deal with now with the hookshot. You can actually just hit them with the hookshot right on their forward armor and they will instantly die. Pretty cool, huh? Then head on into the next room. Here we are greeted with 4 lights and an elevator. And as soon as we walk in, all 4 lights go out and you'll see 4 Poes that will appear. Then they take the lights with them. The elevator goes down into the ground, so we can't use it anymore, and they scatter to all 4 corners of the temple. So, the obvious thing, seems that we need to do, is to relight all 4 lights in order to bring the elevator back up so that we can use it to go down. So we need to go get all 4 Poes before we can do that. So run straight across, and then there is a gold statula on the wall here, at the top of the steps. So shoot him down to collect token number 50. And then after that, go ahead and run through the door. And here we will encounter a new enemy called a blue bubbler. So, easy way to defeat them is to hold out your shield and intentionally run into them. Another option is to use a Deku Nut, in which case they'll freeze and then you can hit them in place. In this room, there's another new enemy called a Stalfos. They're a bit harder, so keep Z targeting, and they have shields and use jump attacks on you. A jump attack will actually do quite a bit of damage, taking away 2 hearts, so keep them in your sight. You can normally defend against sword hits by using your shield. The easiest way I found to defeat them is to use repeated stab attacks and keep hitting them below the shield. And watch out for them doing jump attacks on you. Here's an example of a Stalfos jump attack, and you can see how I lost 2 hearts with that one hit. And with that, go ahead and open the chest to grab yet another key. There's a couple pots in the room here. One of them contains a fairy. So I have bugs still in my bottle that we don't really need anymore, at least not for a long time. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the bugs, and fairy would be far more useful to carry around. So we can have a second fairy. So I'll go ahead and drop the bugs and then put him in my bottle. So now I have 2 fairies that will bring me back from the dead and refill all of my health if I happen to die. Fairies are your best friend in battle. In many other Zelda games, they'll refill partial health, but not necessarily 100% health. Anyway, here's a good example of how to kill a blue bubbly using a Deku Nut. Hit them with the Deku Nut, it freezes them in place, and then you can use a jump attack to kill them. Alright, now we have 2 keys. There's one more that we need to grab. So, after coming down the stairs, make the first right-hand turn, and Navi's flying over turning green, and she'll tell you that, hey, isn't that the same design that's on the Door of Time? And of course, we dealt with this before after playing the game with Dampy. So, you can play the Song of Time, which will move the block, and the block will go somewhere else. It doesn't really disappear, it actually goes somewhere else, so maybe it goes into a wall, I'm not sure. But then go ahead and go through the door, and we come out into the big courtyard here, and we've got another giant Deku Baba, much like the one that you saw in the Kokiri Forest. So you can defeat that, or you can just leave it alone, throw down a Deku Nut, it'll freeze it, or hit it with your hook shot, and then after that, go ahead and run up to the other big vine, and you'll notice 3 Statulas on the vine. 2 of them you can take out with your hook shot. The other one, there's not much you can do about now, we just have to avoid it. So go ahead and shoot down the first 2. And then that third one up there on the left can be avoided by staying all the way to the right, and hopefully he won't chase us and try and knock us down. One thing I'd like to point out is if you ever get lost in the dungeon, there is a symbol above the door that you want to head towards. So if you see the symbol above the door there, with that just opened up, that is the way to go to move forward in the dungeon. And with opening the big chest here, we'll finally obtain the dungeon map. So, pretty sizable dungeon. I'll give you a look at it here, and it's 4 floors with lots of rooms. So, of course, blue is where we've been. Where it's not colored is where we have not been. And flashing blue is where you currently are. Alright, here we'll have to defeat the Deku Baba. He's a lot smaller than the other huge one, at least. He's not too big. And then we can hookshot onto the other balcony. So you can defeat that one if you want to. Don't really need to. And you see there's a target there, so you can shoot the target, or you could actually shoot the vine, but then you have to keep pushing forward with analog stick so that you don't fall off. Anyway, step on the switch, it drains the water from the well, and then we can jump on down. So you want to jump to the right side of the water, and then there's the huge Deku Baba there. So now go ahead and defeat the Octorot and the big Deku Baba, and after that, we'll do something cool. Alright, on the other side of that little river there's a higher ledge that we can't really get to. But if you look up there, there's a chest. So we can hookshot onto the chest, which will pull us up there. If you hit it directly on the side, you'll fall down into the water. So let's try that again from a different angle. Run over to where you're on the yellow brick road there, and then try to hookshot it. And then it should pull us up there and we won't fall down. And once we're up here, we can open it up for a piece of recovery heart. Yay! You might need that. Alright, but the real reason we came up here was actually there's a gold statula on the other wall here. So we can shoot him down to collect token number 51. Alright, with the water gone, now it's time to head down the well. Because why not? Everybody wants to go down an empty well with no water, right? There's a ladder there, so that's very convenient. That way we don't get hurt. So climb down the ladder. And guess what is down here? Another chest. So go and open that up to get a third small key. And climb on up the vine. As we ran through that underground corridor, that has taken us back to the first courtyard that we were originally in. We can climb all the way up here, and now there's not much more we can do other than run back inside. So avoid the Deku Baba and the Octorok and run back through that door. So after running back into this main room, we'll make a right-hand turn, and the first locked door, we'll use one of our keys to enter. The nice thing about the blue bubbly is they often do drop Deku Nuts. So if you use up a bunch of them in a battle with them, you don't have to worry too much. Anyway, after getting up here, climbing the two ladders, make the first left-hand turn, and Navi will tell you, hey, there's arrows painted on the floor. And if you look to your left, there's a big block there. And if you look again around the corner, that's kind of where the arrows go. So pull the block all the way out, and then we'll push it down that corridor all the way up against the wall, as far as we can go with it right now. After that, turn around and run back to where that block was, and now there's a ladder that we can climb up to get to the higher surface. Run through, make the first right-hand turn, followed by a right-hand turn, and now there's a red block. So go and push that all the way down the corridor as far as we can. Okay, now we need to run back downstairs again. So not that way, but the other way. And run back the way that we came, climb back down the ladder. After turning around, we'll make the first left-hand turn, run all the way down this corridor, and then keep making rights, going a way that we were blocked in before, and we can see the block down this corridor, so now we can continue to push it all the way down until it falls into place. And climb up on top. And then, not real obvious, but you need to make a right-hand turn here, and you can climb up that ledge. And now we have access to the red block that we pulled out before. So go and push that all the way down as far as we can, and that will fall down into a hole as well and be locked into place. And we can continue to climb up. Okay, here we'll make two right-hand turns and climb up another ladder to go yet even higher. We're going up to the higher levels of Temple now. And here we have blue bubblies that we can deal with. So, again, I used a Deku Nut, followed by some Sword Strikes. You can use either 2 hits or 1 jump attack in order to defeat them. And again, they typically will drop Deku Nuts. I'll point out the eye above. Anyway, go ahead right now and use another key to unlock the door. And we're in a twisted hallway. Navi will tell us the corridor is all twisted. We need to come back here a few times, so I'm going to go ahead and cast Pharaoh's Wind to allow us to quickly return to this place. When casting Pharaoh's Wind, it will create a warp point, which is that green ball. It will use some magic up to cast it, and then we can return to it at any time while in the dungeon or even after leaving the dungeon. So anyway, go and continue on, and she says, watch for shadows of monsters that hang from the ceiling. What Navi is referring to is a wall master, and if they catch you, they'll transport you completely out of the dungeon to the very beginning where you first walk in. It's pretty easy just to avoid them here because we're just gonna go one block over, make a right-hand turn, go another block over, and then go through that locked door. Upon running in the room here, you'll notice a Poe in the wall. That is one of the Poes, Jolie, who was in that main room that we first walked into and is now hiding in the pictures in the wall. Alright, as the door was locked behind us and we run into the room, Stalfos will appear, and you'll notice there's a giant open gap in the middle of the room. Do not fall into it. If you do, you're going to have to go on a very long route all the way back around to get back to this point, so be very careful. You'll have to fight the Stalfos. He can walk over it, you cannot. And again, the best way that I like to fight them is to Z-target and then use stab attacks in order to hit them underneath their shield. Again, watch out for their jump attacks. They will jump attack you. You can either jump back or jump to the side. Use your shield and try and avoid their stab attacks and jump attacks. Here, jumped attacked, and I almost fell down the hole. Almost. But fortunately I was able to grab the side and saved myself from falling in. And with that, Stalfos is defeated, and the ceiling falls down and fills in the hole. So now we have two Stalfoses. We have to fight them both. And here they have to be killed fairly close together. So if you kill one, it will become bones, and then if you wait too long to kill the other one, the first one will come back alive. And it can be a vicious cycle of having to fight them back and forth. So you can injure one and get it partially injured, and then go ahead and kill the other one and then kill the first one. Or if you're quick about it, just kill one like I did, and then take the second one out. Alright, with that we have a giant chest in the middle of the room that appears. That was essentially the mini-boss of the temple. So, if you need any heart piece refills, go ahead and knock down some of the pots on the side of the room to collect pieces of heart, and then when you're ready, open up the big chest. And here we obtain the Fairy Bow, one of the greatest weapons in Zelda. So we can take it out, and right now we can hold up to 30 arrows, and now we have a ranged weapon that we can use as an adult, which is a little bit better than just using the hookshot. Now, it is time to cast Fair's Wind, which will take us back to our warp point. This will be the end of part 1 of the Forest Temple. Please join me again for part 2 of the Forest Temple, episode 35.